homemade, very bright white light halogen LED lamp. This is mounted on one of those little arms that can be reoriented, so nice and convenient, and it's bolted to the microscope. This is from Hooner wire. It's a fine coaxial cable which has braided shielding in silver, single conductor in the middle that's insulated with Teflon with a sheet of silicone. It will tolerate being bent quite a bit. For the typical Miniscope and Scope, we use a length of about 2 meters. This is an edge-mounted coax connector and a custom-made PCB made by Daniel Aaroni, which you can order online. It's good practice to first tin the surfaces to be soldered. Tinning means that you apply a layer of solder on top so as to prepare it to be joined, such that you can take two parts that have been tinned, and then when you put them together, provided that you don't wait too long such that the solder oxidizes, you can just apply the iron and they will fuse together. I take the fine iron, which I clean. Here the soldering iron is set at 300 degrees Celsius, but don't leave the iron more than 5 seconds on a metal surface on a PCB, because then they will peel off, they will burn. For big pads like this, I can just touch the pad with the iron and then touch the solder to it, and then you can paint the solder on the surface like this, and careful to not burn your fingers. Here you can see that the PCB has these 3 surfaces, and then this pad there, and on the other side has surfaces to solder to these 2 prongs there, and then this side will have pads joined to these prongs, and then this pin goes in the middle, and that's for the middle pin of the coax cable. The other ones are connected to the housing, and those are to be connected to this pad, which will solder to the braid of the coax cable. So first I'm going to also tin the connector in the same way, so I'm going to apply flux on the inside of the prongs and then also on the middle pin. Because this piece of metal, there's a lot of metal, so there's going to be a lot of heat capacity. I'm going to raise the temperature of the iron to 400. What's going to happen if the temperature is too low? When you touch the metal, the temperature will drop, and then your solder doesn't melt as easily. So, and here you can just put some solder on your iron and then apply it to the inside of your prongs there. Okay, and then apply solder to the middle pin like this. Slide the little PCB into the connector like this. The solder that I've applied makes it fit somewhat tight so it doesn't fall out. If I apply heat on the contacts, the solder on both the prongs and the pins and the pads on the PCB, they're all gonna melt and fuse together. Okay, so now the pins, the housing is all joined. So I'm going to test for shorts with the multimeter. The pin of the coax should connect only with the pin and the PCB pad there at the back. The prongs and the pins should not be shorted. You see, If I touch the housing, this is all continuous, that's normal, but the middle pin here, they should not connect. So the coax cable, when you cut it flush, for soldering to this, you want to remove the insulation. You can roll the cable there like this and roll it with the X-Acto blade 360 degrees and remove a little bit of insulation like this. So I want to remove some of the braiding at the tip to expose the central conducting wire, which is also insulated by a sleeve of Teflon. Okay, so the way I do this, I just nip the braiding as I roll it all around. To expose just the tip very delicately with the X-Acto. I'm gonna nick the insulation all around and flick it out. First I apply some flux to the braiding and to the tip. So I put soldering on the braid and then I'm gonna tin the tip like this. Here the goal is to solder the middle of the coax cable to the middle pin of the connector and solder the braiding to the housing, which is connected to that big pad there. Because I've tinned my surfaces there, I just need to heat them up in order to fuse them. Still a little bit of solder, just a tiny bit on the iron. Okay, so now I soldered the tip and gonna touch the braiding here. Shorts again. So from the braid to the housing and to the middle pin. So now the middle pin and the braid are not connected, but the housing is connected. And then if I test the cable's central conductor with the central pin of the coax, it's connected, but the housing is not connected, so it's good.